What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to go over 4 Scream TV ideas that I think could potentially work. Now, they're not all pitched equally or evenly, but I want to go through these. I was thinking, what would make this wait for Scream 7 a little bit more tolerable? And I thought, well, TV show, to be honest with you, a TV show has always made sense for Scream. I think that's why the MTV thing happened, and I really like that show. I think you can continue it. We'll get there on my list because is actually one of them. I do think, with Paramount Plus and these streaming services that are all over the place, sometimes they're doing amazing, sometimes they look like they're about to shut down tomorrow. I think a Scream show would do great now. I think it would do great in a year from now, would have done great a year ago. So let's go through these 4 options. I got Kirby behind me because I actually want to start there. Let's start with a Kirby specific show. Now, I guess what you need to know as we talk about Kirby and as we talk about the others, one thing that I want to stay away from is a show revolving around the main, like the core 4. I guess we can just throw out the name again. I don't think a show based off of Sam, Tara, Mindy, Chad in any capacity, I really don't think that works because, I don't know, I just think like any adventures they're going to have are going to be contained to the big screen, be contained to a movie. If you do a show with Tara and she gets terrorized by Ghostface, don't you think that would have made sense to, for a movie, right? So the reason I picked Kirby here is because she was a big part in 6, and I actually think that kind of helps her case. That's actually why I think Kirby would work is she's a outskirts character, much like you could argue for Gale or Sydney or characters like that, right? Outskirts character, big enough name, I guess, with Hayden Panettiere, and also just a fan favorite. That's a big one, right? Kirby's a fan favorite. She had a big role to play in 6, and I think generally, like what I've seen online, a lot of people really liked her. There was maybe debate of bringing her back or not, and did she take away from Sydney? Like if Sydney was in the movie, then what would you have done with Kirby, right? Like there were those arguments. I think generally Kirby did awesome, and I think the idea that she could just go around and there could be like copycat killers, so I don't know if you'd actually use a Ghostface, right? The tough thing with Ghostface is it's always connected to the past in some way, right? It's connected to kind of like these main people, and if you did something with Kirby and you did something with Ghostface, well then why would that connect? Does it have to connect? Would it connect to a larger picture with Sam and Tara or Sydney and Gale? You know what I mean? Would it actually do that? And the answer would probably be it's best to just leave it like away from it. I get the argument. You could argue with the MTV series that, okay, well, they didn't use Ghostface. The mask was different. People have very conflicted views, let's say, on the mask and just the general idea of it. But I do understand it where like you want it to be Scream, but you also want to kind of keep it away. Now, when I say like a copycat killer, you could do something very in line with the opening of Scream 6. So they could literally be wearing a Ghostface thing, right? But they're doing it for kind of a lower, like down the totem pole, lower reasoning, right? So I think you would probably still have Roger. You'd probably still do the mask, but it just wouldn't be something that is so gigantic that it connects to a bigger picture. So you'd maybe do people that are trying to be like Ghostface, right? Like something like that. And they commit crimes and Kirby goes to save them and Kirby ends up, in the crosshairs. I think that would work. Is it the greatest? Well, like I said, not all of these are pitched equally. Let's go to a very different side of things. And let's say the finale, the closing chapters of the MTV series. So this would be, one of my 4 kind of pitches. Bring the thing back. I did a review of season 1, 2. I even did 3, and oh boy, that was not good at all. I hated season 3 with every fiber of my being, but season 1 and 2, I actually quite enjoyed. I really enjoyed it. Now, the tough thing is, they have gone, like the showrunners, have talked at length, very detailed, about what a season 3 and 4 would have been. You can go online right now. In fact, I think I maybe even covered it in a video. You have to go back. I don't even know what you would search on YouTube, but I did cover it. They did a whole interview essay-like thing where they went over, here's what we would have done for season 3, here's what we would have done for season 4. At this point, obviously, like I just don't think it's going to happen. I think a Kirby show is more likely to happen than if you did, you brought back Willa Fitzgerald and all of them. I think the Kirby show is actually more likely, which is scary because you already had the MTV series, right? No, but I would have liked to have seen it through to its natural conclusion rather than it ending so early. It just upsets me that like how it ended in season 2 like is flat out a cliffhanger to get you ready for a season 3. So like I don't know, I hate it when show or games, movies, anything, if you plan on more of it and it just gets shot right down, right? That's just annoying to me. But this would be a pitch. Bring them back. I don't know if it would be possible. I think it would be highly unlikely. Like I said, I think really all of the other pitches I have would probably be more likely than to do the MTV series, but I got to throw it in. Let's do another character one, and that is going to be a Sydney show. All right, so this one's tough, and I know, does this one fly against what I said earlier with Kirby? Okay, so Sydney obviously is, the original Final Girl, one of our fan favorite, my favorite character in Scream, a lot of people's maybe favorite or top 3 or whatever, okay? The reason I guess I could see this working is because she's on like the outskirts, right? When it comes to the base movies, she's never going to have the starring like solely being her, right? She's never going to have that again. She had that in 1 through 4, and then you could say that she reached the conclusion that it was supposed to reach and all that, or you could say it didn't, and it doesn't really matter to me, but I think with a TV show, I kind of look at it almost like a Halloween, like the movies that they just did, the 3 of them. I could see it as like that, but you just do it as a TV show. Now, the issue is, I just said, like, it can't have too many stakes. I guess, okay, a Sydney TV show would kind of be like an Avengers level get together, but through this epic like 6-episode, finale kind of thing, like all on streaming services, right? I think it could work because you could bring in like Melissa Barrera, right? So this would be, it really would. It would be like the Avengers level thing where you bring in some big names and you make this show. You could maybe even argue, well, Alex, should that show then be a movie? And that's fair. In fact, that again goes against what I was saying with the Kirby pitch. But I would say it's very clear to me what they're trying to do, and I think it's clear to everybody, with what they're trying to do in the movies, right? Like, it's moved off of it. Now, they're always willing to have Nev back or Courtney back, right? Like, they're always willing to have those characters. And yeah, Nev or Sydney could always be a big part of even, like, the reasoning, like, why the killers are doing it. But she won't be, like, the reason. So, if you want to maybe mend things over with her, you give her a lot of money, right? Have this TV show and have it kind of be this big, epic event. Is it likely? Again, very, very. I think the Kirby one is, at this point, we've done 3 pitches. Kirby one is probably the most. The Nev thing, I could see some sort of like epic. If I really could. I think that's possible. Over the MTV one. The MTV one is just, I had to throw that in. And then the 4th and final pitch, which it's not really a pitch, it's more like just a basic idea, and then we can fill in the gaps afterwards. A brand new show. Brand new show. So basically, it would be like doing the MTV series again. So you would do brand new group. You would maybe do a Ghostface. You'd maybe do something that's not a Ghostface. Take your creative liberties. Use not Roger, all that jazz. Now this one is both like the most likely, I could say, and also the least likely, because they could probably be afraid to death or scared to death that they would just I know it's not the same people, but when you're doing your pitching, when you're doing your research and all that stuff, you could look at the MTV stuff and say, well, that didn't exactly work. It didn't work. It didn't, and not a lot of people watched those episodes. Like, that's just the basic fact. I thought they were good, but they had maybe 300,000-400,000 people watching weekly. I guess that's okay. And if they all went to see a Scream movie several times, you'd make a chunk of money, but not exactly good enough, right, to kind of continue it. So if you did a brand new thing, you definitely would have to be careful. I think something and this is what's tough, right? Because like the core 4, I think, again, you kind of keep them out of it. Unless you're doing an Avengers level threat thing with Sydney and all of them, then you would bring them in. But if you're going to do a TV show, I would say set it in their world. And I guess like the Lakewood stuff like that is also, but it's kind of separate, right? For this, I would say like maybe it's a friend of theirs that know them. Like it probably should have some connection to the main characters, right? Or to Sydney, or to Kirby, or to Gale. So keep it, I guess, in that bubble, right? So we have the MTV series over here, and then you have everything else over here. I'd say to do that, right? If you separate them too far, you basically have done the MTV thing again, which, hindsight, looking back at it, I don't really mind. But like current day, and again, like these things are expensive. These things obviously you'd want to produce some subscription or revenue or something, right? You gotta almost go with a safe idea. That's why I think almost Kirby the safest idea. You got Hayden kind of coming back. You got a likable character. You got like a nice little like cop comedy thing, while a little bit of movie trivia, and she can act and she's really good, right? So like I think you kind of got everything with Kirby and a very safe bet, whereas everything else isn't exactly safe. I guess maybe she's not safe either. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, whether it's on my 4 pitches or whether it's on another pitch, your original pitch. Let me know. Make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on. I hope to see you all on the next one.